Hi, Saggy. All my Saggies. I'm sorry if you were looking for the video and I missed it. Literally, I missed it. It's hard keeping up with all of this. I'm telling you, it is. Um, this I used to call these videos the homework family reading, and spirits told me to change them to home light security. Now I'm gonna try to get them out normally within like the first 2 weeks of the month, hopefully the first week of the month. But this month has just been nuts. And so I'm sorry it's gotten out late. I'm going to try to give you, the end here of the month, give you a little bit of what's been going on with you for the month, and start to steer you into next month until I do the next home light security reading. Now, I mean, the energy itself's been a bit off the chain. Like I said, you just had the full moon, or we're still kind of going through the full moon. Technically, it took place this morning, but you guys, they're not even let me go through the spiel. They're just having me jump right in. Look, some of you are having fear of failure, but you don't realize it's fear of failure. It's just flat out what on the materialistic level, on the three-dimensional world out there. What are you afraid of? Is it fear of failure? Fear of, learning yourself? Fear of what you're becoming? Because some of you don't realize that what is going on with many of you, and this isn't for everyone, but for what I'm picking up for Sagittarius is it's dealing with, like emotional, relationship, personal identification, grief, and judgment. Heart chakra, it's heart sacral, it's sacral, solar, and heart. It's just like bleh, is what I'm getting for many of you. Before I go any further, I'm not trying to put anybody down. It's I know where we're taking this because they're saying you guys are just kind of really oversensitive right now, like oversensitive, and the energy's been nuts. If you're a Sag, if you've never watched these videos before, see right down there below, it's telling you how to follow these videos. So if you're, a core, if you're a sun sign Sagittarius, then we're talking about your core. If you're a moon sign Sagittarius, we're getting more into your emotional and physical actual body. And then if you're, rising Sag, we're getting more into your manifestation and your creativity. Because what they're saying is, what they're giving me is, and this is not just for you, that's been for everybody. There's been major manifestation shifting going on. Okay. And it has everything to do with our creativity. And if we're tapping into our creativity in healthy ways or unhealthy ways, as to if we're really peaking, so to speak, what I'm getting from them is a lot of this has to do for some of you, it's really frustration, rejection, anger, but it's more of at yourself, guilt, and this disappointment, confusion within yourself. This just means you got to go deeper. Really, it's not as bad as you think it is. It really isn't. I mean, as far as the spiritual growth, you got to go deeper. They're saying, dig deeper or dive deeper and get into your intuition. But that, yeah, it's definitely, even though I'm feeling it in like because what I'm getting is that, how you get that feeling from time to time with the gut feeling, and the gut feeling can be confusing in the form of, well, should I do it or should I not? Versus the gut feeling that goes, oh no, this is just bad. See, because a lot of people misunderstand that, oh no, this is just a bad thing. And you already have the intuition telling you no. Versus sometimes you get a little nauseous and you get that kind of like, ooh, this could be a bad thing, but it's really not that it's a bad thing. When you're like, I'm not going down that road. We're not going there. End of discussion. Versus slightly sick to your stomach, twisted confusion. And that usually is more of along the line of you being inflexible and being actually afraid of what could come from the change. Okay. And that's where I'm getting all of this gut funk. And they're saying this is a level of tweaking and trusting and growing and maturing inside of your intuition. It's listening to that second brain, that second gut feeling. You're overcoming some kind of insecurities that you actually see somehow in the physical world that's manifesting around you, or that you're trying to manifest out of, because you're in some strange houses. When I get into the astrology, no matter where the sun is at this time, right here in the here and now, that is technically where the house that you are walking through is. And what they keep giving me is very high on the materialistic level, very much on maybe it's not that you care about what others think, but maybe you're caring more about your materialistic level, your three-dimensional level. Your ego is getting in the way on a spiritual ego is getting away from your spiritual level, which is, causing a conflict. Okay, what? I gotta change my notes here because they're starting to give me some strange things. And they've been saying this to everybody, not just you all, but there's a lot going on with, seriously, you cannot just push to receive right now. Some of this is definitely major changes that is going to be taking place. However, everything does come in its perfect timing, and trying to push to receive is not going to make it happen. It'll actually slow down the process. You need to go at the pace that's right for you, not the one you necessarily want. All right, well, this is Sun and Jupiter is what they're giving me energies in the heart. So this is abundant illumination. But illumination is also, when it deals with the sun, it could be, like I said, the ego. And it's in the heart. So this is, stop paying attention to the ego. Stop paying attention to how you view yourself. Pay attention to what your inner heart and source tells you. With acceptance, forgiveness. Because I feel what I'm getting is you guys are just plowing on the heartache on yourself. I need to be perfect. The supernatural highway of the heart and the head. I coulda, shoulda, woulda. I coulda, shoulda done this. I coulda. What if I would have done this? It could have been that way. Well, what if? No. Everything that's been in the past, it's done. Everything that was up until this moment, it's done. Doesn't matter what it was. I mean, it matters, but what happened, it's over now. What are we going to do now? Stop trying to be perfect about it. Stop looking in the past. Where does your heart and soul tell you that you should trust and go? Period. And just stop over controlling. And whatever you find out about yourself, disappointment only means that actually there's room to grow. Okay? Because all of us, as we go through our spiritual growth, we have areas that we see ourselves in a light that maybe isn't exactly thrilling. So it's just allowing yourself the opportunity to grow. Let me see what the cards are saying, and then we'll get into the rest of the astrology, because you guys, everybody is going through some identity shifting. Really, it's not just you. Everybody is. Well, thank you. Okay, what you're getting is togetherness, but upside down, which is in reverse. And this is saying it may be beyond, correction, whatever. For some of you, the situation at hand may be on correction. It may not be salvageable, but regain your personal integrity and your balance and move forward. It's plain and simple. Insecurity is what they're saying. And I keep hearing, all things, and it's not even a relationship. All things come to an end. It's, and let me rephrase that, because it's not that all things come to an end. And this has been a big thing for everybody, because as we've been going through it, it's not that you've outgrown a portion of who and what you were. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is we're outgrowing who we were in the past. It's not even change. You've outgrown it, and what was no longer works. So, a part of it may be unsalvageable because you're no longer who you were. So this is allowing yourself to grow with who you really have become. Okay. The next card that came out was, everybody's seen this picture before. It has to do with cycles of life. This is looking too hard for perfection, releasing judgment about your perceived impressions or your perceived ideas. So, like I said, this is growing. You're moving to a new place, allowing the creativity to flow through you. Opening up new doors. What you've once viewed things as, you're seeing, oh wow, it's really not that. It's something else, and that changes the impression, that changes the judgment, that changes how we viewed everything. The next card it's called Invitation, but this is actually a doorway to the other side, to another dimension. It is gathering courage to venture through that door and coming closer to your guardians, but I'm feeling this is coming closer to a higher, truer level of yourself. So, it's actually a good thing. It's every time we go through a growth, it sucks. It hurts. Nothing's fun about it. It's good that you are growing, but spirituality isn't just foo-foo and everything is all light and happiness. In order for you to get to that inner holiness, there's so much muck that has to be shed. And ultimately, that's what you're doing. If you'll allow yourself to do it. They said if you'll allow yourself to get to your real spirit. This is a good thing, but as we move through these things, they're always difficult. Yeah, spirit. This one's giving you the Tower moment. So it's the end of something and the beginning of something else, which, like I said, it's technically a good thing. What is this? Just starting to show it to you. Don't read what it is. It's the 10 of Swords, which is going with that Tower. Fear of the loss, destruction of the power, destruction of the heart, of what you've believed, what you've known, which is what we've been talking about. Spirit just keeps saying, deepen, deepen, child, deepen. Come to one within yourself. Come to one within yourself. This is 2 of Discs. It's creating your own inner above and below, your own inner harmony. It's inside and out. Go with the flow and allow the change, the shifting to take place. Stop blocking yourself. and it'll bring you peace. 2 of Swords. So, I mean, like I said, it's a good thing. It's just at the moment you're walking through a tower moment. Now, let me just throw some of this at you. Okay, because we had the full moon, and I was saying that the full moon, all this energy is questioning Pisces. And even though the sun's not in Pisces, Pisces still has a shit ton going on, so does Aquarius. So you're still feeling these energies massively, even though the sun is about to move into Aries. And we're going to look at what houses that is for just a second. So we just went through the full moon. This is bringing things into illumination, making it, forcing it into light. And I've been saying that this full moon for many is no more delusion, no more fantasy. What it's a sobering moment. It's coming into, oh, I can't lie to myself about that anymore. This is, time to, this is the facts and what's up. And if you are in that, disillusioned place, then and trying to keep walking in those footsteps is going to come back and hit you even harder because you already know. Otherwise, you wouldn't already feel funky about it. This is just coming to terms with the truth as we're moving, as we're growing. Like I said, you're no longer who you once were. And then you have the equinox coming in on the 20th. As it moves into, the sun moves into Aries. I'm going to get into your astrology here in a second, but I want you to also realize you have Mercury, which has been flying through this energy all month, and it's not having it. Mercury has been given that Pisces energy a little bit of a Mercury retrograde feel. But on the 27th, he's going to be in Aquarius too. So, he's going to be in Aries too. So, I mean, the major shifts have started with the full moon, but it kind of started prior to that. You're definitely feeling it. And what Spirit's saying, would you just trust in your inner talents, your inner spirituality, your inner truth, and trust in your skills because you have everything you need, is what I'm being told. All right, guys. Your first house, nothing's here. Your second house, you still have Pluto here, and he's still at the butt kicking end of the lesson, which is really getting into integrity and taking back your power, because he'll be here for like 2 more years, taking back your power, taking back your value, your self-worth value, and self-esteem, because it's Pluto. It's death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, and regeneration. Like I said, you're no longer who you were before. You're finding out who you've become and what that means and where this is going. All right. But when you get into your third house, your communication's all over the board because all that energy moved out of your second house and has moved into your third, along with Saturn that's here. So you're learning that, first off, with Saturn in your third house of Aquarius, your communication needs to be tweaked. And you're going to be acknowledging it until Saturn moves out. I think mid next year. I could be wrong, but I think mid next year. Saturn is rules, walls, and boundaries. Frustration, friction. I'm sorry, not frustration. Friction and, restriction. And it's in Aquarius, it's kind of willing to, let's try and see if this maneuvering will work a little better in its communication zone. But that is how you speak to yourself, how you speak to the outer world, how you're actually communicating, as well as how well you're listening, not just communicating outwardly. So it's, in some form, it's reading between the lines at the same time. Now, Saturn here is saying there's something to learn in your communication skills in general. Now, you have Venus and Mars here at this time, and they've been unreal together for like a month now. And this is definitely looking at your yin and your yang of your balance of your communication, your value versus your action, or or your passion or your aggression. So, are you controlling it? Are you are you just word vomiting? Are you aware of what's coming out of your mouth? Are you thinking it through? Are you devaluing yourself with the things you're saying, or are you allowing others to do so and you're not correcting it? Vista is here. This is the keys to everything you need to know to get to the next phase. Something has to do with this communication, which Saturn will not let go of. There's going to be a shifting here of learning how to be a higher spiritual communicator, whether it's on the psychic level, with your guides and stuff, or within the three-dimensional world, because you guys got a lot of stuff going on here in the three-dimensional world, the 3D reality. Now, as I move into the fourth house, this is where, like I said, we've been having that kind of Mercury retrograde feel, because you have Jupiter here bringing abundance and knowledge. You have Neptune here who runs the area. You had Sun here all month up until the 20th when it moves into Aries. And Mercury's just flying by. Mercury wants nothing to do with this. Mercury's like, I want out of here. I want to jump into Aries. It's not that he's not comfortable. He's just like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I gave you the answers you need to know. And next. And this is talking about your inner emotional security. I mean, it's like cutting through red tape with a machete. Mercury is. He's like, that's what you needed to hear. Or that's what I needed to say. Because Mercury don't care if it's nice. And like you said, it's been coming in here on your on your fourth house. But you have to understand, Pisces energy is also the universal 12th house, which means your inner home, your inner sanctum, your inner security is riddled with grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurity. I know everything out there. I can point it out and we're all good. I know because I have that Sagittarius higher mind. I understand. I see the right thing. You have that humanitarian thing going on. But when it comes to you, you like to pretend it doesn't apply. Oh, yes, it does. This is saying it's time for you to deepen your own self and get past where you're your own self-sabotage in certain areas where you're unconscious is your own self-deception. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities. Let me just shove them under the carpet. But they're still right there. They're not actually being cleaned. They're not being worked on. This is saying, let's look at these insecurities. Let's look at the roots of who and what we are. And how is that harming us because we haven't changed? How are we holding on to things that only strengthened the insecurity by telling ourselves that we were comfortable? You have to understand that fourth house is your family, your inner child. It's your personal foundation. Where's your personal foundation rocky? Were you in denial in that? Because this is where the major healing comes in. This is also where you start to bring back that heart chakra, and not just with forgiveness, but within giving that solar plexus and that sacral chakra, the I am. Allowing that power to not just be see what you see of the outer world, but to actually be part of it in the sense of I am. I am my own source energy. The heart chakra, as well as the fourth house, isn't just the home, it's the home of the vessel and how we take care of it, how we nurture it, or we neglect it. And you have Neptune here, which you don't give a damn. Magic doesn't care for Neptune. I'm fine with disillusion. I'm fine with fantasy. I'm fine with denial. And I'm fine with creating brand new, beautiful music. That's basically what they just said. So, are you going to create brand new, beautiful music that's coming from your heart and soul? Or are you okay with just the same? Wow, what they gave me is you can create brand new, beautiful music that really, gets into your heart and soul and makes you tick and makes you, just opens you up and breaks you up and makes you feel thriving. Or you can get into that music of like a mermaid, how they draw you in, they pull you in, but really all they do is drown you in it. So, where's your magic? Are you drowning yourself in the magic or are you exploding outwardly? This is what Neptune, the sun, even though the sun's about to move out, Mercury and Jupiter is going to be doing in your fourth house. Mercury is going to be leaving, which is going to be getting rid of some of that confusion, but Neptune and Jupiter will keep giving you that abundance throughout the year until Jupiter leaves. Now, when you get into your fifth house, this is your creativity. This is your fun zone. This is your pursuit of pleasure. It's what makes you tick, what makes you enjoy life. Why do you enjoy it? What do you want to do? I mean, what makes you happy? What makes you, when you wake up each day, makes you want to be part of life? And I always say, it's not just your hobbies, it's what thrills you. Whether it's, relationships, starting new relationships, it's 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 love, but it's also, the teaching, the drama, the new. It's also your creative expression in general. It's your personal interests, your gambling, sports, hobbies, dating, love. It's experience. So, what in the world do you want to experience? See, this is where the sun is going after the equinox. And the equinox is going to be shifting these energies of the lesson of our growth for the next 6 months until the next equinox. So this is part of what your lesson is listen to your heart. Listen to your heart and all of that, the magic of, is it exploding and coming out, or is it listening to the mermaid song that's drowning you versus, well, what do you want? What do you want to experience in life? Because Chiron, the wounded healer, is in your fifth house, which says, I'm really good at experiencing what I know. And I'm really good at starting something, but wait, I got to work at it. I got to work at it. I have to really continue. Do I really want it? And that's fine for you to experience it, but the sun is going to be illuminating your opportunities here. Not to mention you have Pallas here. Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess, trying to help you strategically realize how to bring your personal expression into fruition over this month to help you redirect where your next 6 months is going by allowing you to. What do you want to experience? What do you want to be part of? Where are you willing to try to go? Whether it's dating, whether it's relationships, whether it's, oh, I want to get into being a better artist. I want to spend more time doing my music. So the point is, whatever it is you desire, are you getting the time for it? Are you making the time for it? Because it's massively necessary that you're making the time for what you love. Otherwise, why are you here? Why are you doing it? What are you burning for? This is really what I'm getting is, and we're moving. That's your fifth house. Yeah, your fifth house. Your sixth house is now where the North Node is. So the sixth house, it makes complete sense for where I'm channeling this, because the North Node is saying everything you need to learn in order to move forward. Well, the sixth house is the people, places, and things. It's your mundane tasks. And I always say there's nothing mundane about the mundane. It's the repetitive that you overlook, that you don't realize is so important to the manifestation of the life. So the people, the places, and the things of energies that you consume are ultimately consuming you. And are they supporting you getting to experience what you want to experience or not? Uranus is here. It's not in its most powerful position, but here it's saying, you know what? Yes, the sixth house is those mundane tasks. And yes, it's, your job and responsibilities that you have. And yes, it's your health and your diet. But it's nurturing you. Again, it's telling you, are you nurturing everything you desire? Or you're just going to keep telling yourself, well, I can avoid that and I can avoid this, and I don't really have to do that, but it's still going to be okay. This is saying if you really want to get to express and experience everything about yourself and the desire and the life that you want, then you better be having the correct people, places, and things in there that help you experience them. Because otherwise, I'm getting that mermaid again that'll just sing you the song and pull you under and keep you from ever achieving it. And ultimately, that's what I'm being told is for your North Node in your sixth house. Coming into your power of your own daily, and making sure you're making that work for you, not just going. It is going with the flow, but it's going with the flow in a way that it makes it work for you, not just going with what society tells you. And then your seventh house has Ceres in it, which comes right back to what I've been saying the whole time, because your seventh house right now, you no longer have the North Node in your seventh house. It's now in your sixth, which should have been helping to set up all of this in the first place. But if you missed the memo, Ceres is here, which is still trying to teach you how to make sure you are nurturing yourself and the relationships in your life to where they are able to continuously rebloom, where they are able to grow and mature. Or she's showing you where you are full on neglecting anything that will make it last, where it's taking from it. And I've been using this in every video. For some reason, I've been saying it because I'm feeling like I'm supposed to. And Ceres also speaks to you of like, and I'm using it as an example for you to understand what I mean by in these relationship zones for you right now on nurturing or neglecting. Ceres also speaks to you about when we have neglect, like child neglect, child support. The support is supposed to be there to help the child, not because you could just get the money. It's supposed to be there to help the child. But it's also when you're going into like court cases of child neglect, are they being nurtured properly? Are they being taught healthy lessons? Are they being fed healthy? Are they, being nurtured in healthy ways, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? So look at like the court case idea of that and now apply it to your relationships. Is the relationships being nurtured properly, or is there neglect issues that need to be addressed? And then you have nothing in all of your other houses of that outer world, but this material energy of what's going on inside of here is what's shifting everything out there, even though you don't have anything there. But what you do have, and this is going to be important for you over the next year, because everything I just said, even though it'll twist and cheat, twist and shift and tweak right up throughout the year because of the planets moving. You guys now have in your 12th house the South Node. This is very important. The South Node is everything that you're good at, but it's not good for you. And for you, that's Scorpio. This is your actual ability to Phoenix. This is your actual ability to be able to have birth, death, and rebirth, regeneration. Because that's what Scorpio energy is. It's the magic of that. And with the South Node here, they're saying there's something about your inner 12th house that's really good at cutting that off, stopping the rebirth. And it's learning how to get out of your way so that stops happening. Because remember, the 12th house is the most misunderstood, and it has to do with grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities, and everything you sweep under the closet or under the rug. It has to do with your own self-sabotage, your own self-deception. When you get in your own way and when you're in your comfort zone, which actually is the farthest thing from comfortable because you're not growing. The South Node is saying there's pieces here where you need to ask yourself throughout the whole rest of the year, am I in my comfort zone? Am I in my own way? Because Spirit is saying it's coming back to your own judgment. But where are you judging yourself correctly versus just being too hard on beating up on yourself? Stop being afraid. There's nothing that you can't, there's nothing you can't muster. Jupiter is, I just heard Jupiter is your daddy. So you're abundantly lucky. But will you believe that? And then start making it work for you. I will see you guys next month. And I'm hoping to do the Breaking the Cage video tomorrow for next week. Love you guys. Bye.